You are not lazy, you are trapped. And there is a brutal difference. A lazy person feels nothing. They sink into the couch, stare at the screen, and experience genuine peace. That is not you. You sit on the same couch, but your mind is at war. You are constructing entire futures in your head, mapping out empires, rehearsing conversations, imagining the version of yourself you keep almost becoming, and then hating yourself for not moving. You are exhausted by work you haven't started. The world sees a slacker. I see a jet engine with the landing gear locked, full power, zero movement, and if something doesn't change, you will burn the whole machine out on the runway. Part 1. The Visionary's Curse. Your brain has shown you a version of your life so vivid, so perfect, that touching reality feels like a downgrade. In your imagination, you never stumble. You never sound stupid in the pitch meeting. You never publish something mediocre. The business works. The body looks right. The book gets written and it is exactly what you meant it to be. The moment you actually start, you shatter the dream. You introduce error, imperfection, evidence. So you protect the dream by never testing it. This is the darkest, most seductive trap a driven mind can fall into. As long as you don't try, you can never fail. You keep the genius card in your pocket. You stay someone with potential. And potential, unlike results, can never be disproven. Your procrastination is not weakness. It is armor. It is your mind protecting the fragile belief that you are exceptional. Because if you gave it everything and still came up short, that story would collapse. But here is the truth that will either break you or free you. The world does not compensate you for what you could have done. The graveyard is full of unlived potential, full of people who protected their dreams so carefully they never once lived inside it. Part 2. The Dopamine Trap. Here is why you love planning more than doing. When you spend 3 hours designing your system, color-coding your goals, researching the optimal method, your brain releases a reward signal. It treats the asterisk simulation of success nearly the same as success itself. You are getting paid before you do the work. This is why you have 4 half-started projects, 17 saved articles, 2 downloaded apps you've never opened, and a journal full of the same goals from 3 years ago. The idea phase feels electric. The execution phase feels like dragging concrete. You are addicted to the beginning. Real progress is profoundly unglamorous. It is doing the same boring task for the 100th time because it is necessary. No music swell, no montage, just the work again in a quiet room. The professional does not wait for perfect conditions or the right tool. They use what is available and they begin. The amateur researches the best running shoes for 6 weeks and never runs. If you have been researching something for more than 30 minutes, you are not researching. You are hiding. Part 3. The Gifted Kid's Wound. Many of you were told you were smart early. It came easy. You coasted. That felt like a gift. It was actually a debt. Because you never learned the fundamental lesson that average kids absorbed through years of struggle. Asterisk effort is how results get made. You learned the wrong equation. You learned that talent produces outcomes without friction. Then the world got harder. The problems got bigger. Raw intelligence stopped being enough. And instead of learning to try, you froze. Because trying means risking the label. If you have to work hard, maybe you were never as special as they said. If you struggle, maybe the story was wrong. So you stopped, not from laziness, from terror. You watch people you know, people you are certain are less capable than you, surpass you. And it burns. I could do that. Yes. But they did something you haven't. They gave themselves permission to be bad at it first. They were free to fail publicly. You are not. Your standards are so high they function as a wall between you and starting. Lower the bar not for the result, but for the beginning. Give yourself explicit permission to produce something terrible, because terrible is the only road that leads to good. The gifted kid inside you is a ghost. Respectfully, you need to let him go. Part 4. The Energy Paradox. I'm too tired is probably the most common lie told by ambitious, stagnant people. Here is the counterintuitive reality. You are not tired because you did too much. You are tired because you spent all day not doing the thing that matters, and suppressing ambition is metabolically expensive. Every ignored idea costs energy. Every hour of knowing you should be working and choosing not to, your brain cycles through guilt, self-justification, and shame. That cycle is exhausting. You arrive at the end of the day depleted by a war you fought entirely in your own head. If you actually started 20 minutes of real work, you would discover energy you didn't know you had. Action generates momentum. Rest does not. High performers are not people who feel motivated. They are people who stopped waiting to feel motivated. They disconnected their actions from their emotional state. You are governed by your mood. If the internal weather is poor, you declare a work holiday. But the most important things get built in bad weather. Stop waiting for inspiration to arrive. Inspiration follows action. It almost never precedes it. Get moving. The feeling catches up. Part 5. Strategic Laziness. There is one way your avoidance can work for you. The ambitious person who hates inefficiency will, if properly directed, build better systems than anyone else. Not because they love working, but because they hate wasting effort. They will automate, streamline, and eliminate everything unnecessary just to reduce the cost of doing the thing. That instinct is valuable. But you must be ruthlessly honest with yourself. Are you avoiding this task because you genuinely see a smarter path, or because you are afraid and calling it strategy? Most of the time, it is fear wearing efficiency's clothes. Sometimes there is no clever shortcut. Sometimes you drag the rock. The wheel gets invented by the person who dragged enough rocks to be furious about it, not by the person who sat down and refused to move. Part 6. The Parent in Your Head. Go deeper. Ask who you are performing for, or more precisely, who you are rebelling against. For many driven, paralyzed people, inaction is not passivity. It is protest. A parent who controlled, pushed, demanded. The only power available to a child in that situation is refusal. You can put me here, but you cannot make me work. The parent left the room years ago, but the dynamic moved inside. Now there is a voice in your head that sounds like authority. You're wasting your life. You should be further along, and another part that digs in and refuses. You are in a power struggle with yourself, procrastinating to prove you are free, sabotaging your own future to win an argument with a ghost. The solution is a language shift. Remove the phrase "I have to." Replace it with "I choose to." Not semantics, neurology. I have to go to the gym triggers the rebel. I choose to go to the gym because I want to be strong returns the agency to you. When you realize your ambition belongs to you, not to anyone who once pushed you toward it, the resistance softens. You are not performing for them. You are building for the version of yourself that has been waiting quietly this entire time. Part 7. The Trojan Horse Method. Your brain is a fortified city. Walk up to the gate with a massive goal and the defenses activate immediately. Overwhelm. Shut down. The couch. Stop storming the gate. Smuggle your ambition in small. Do not announce "I am going to work on my business." Tell yourself, "I am just going to open the document." That is all. Your brain accepts that it's harmless. Open the document. Now tell yourself, "I'll just write one sentence." Fine, one sentence is nothing. Write the sentence. There are 2 more trying to come out. Let them. You have bypassed the checkpoint. You are inside the walls. The work is happening. This is not a trick for weak people. This is sophisticated psychological engineering. The largest obstacles to human achievement are not external. They live in the 6 inches between the idea and the beginning. Make the beginning so small it doesn't register as a threat. Then build from there. An avalanche starts with one unstable snowflake. Part 8. The 2-minute agreement. Tell yourself this: I will do this for 2 minutes. If I still hate it after 2 minutes, I stop. Full permission. This is not a lie. Honor the deal completely, because if you break it once, your brain stops believing you. What actually happens? You start. 2 minutes pass. Something shifts. The brain, having opened the task, now experiences tension about leaving it unfinished. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Incomplete tasks create cognitive pressure that pushes toward completion. Stopping at 2 minutes becomes harder than continuing. Most of the time you won't stop. You'll look up and 20 minutes have passed. You're in flow. Flow is not a divine gift. It is the biological reward for getting past friction. You cannot think your way into it. You can only move your way into it. Stop waiting for the water to feel comfortable. Jump in. The shock lasts seconds. Part 9. Kill tomorrow. "I'll do it tomorrow" is the most dangerous phrase in your vocabulary. When you say it, you receive immediate relief. The anxiety lifts. You feel almost responsible. You have a plan after all. But you did not solve the problem. You handed it to someone who doesn't exist yet. Research shows that people mentally experience their future selves the way they experience strangers. You sacrifice future. You casually, the way you might ask someone else to carry the heavy bag. Here is the correction you need to make every single time. Translate later to never. "I'll start the project later" equals "I will never start the project." "I'll fix my habits next week" equals "I will keep these habits forever." Sit with that, feel the weight of it. If never is acceptable to you, delete the goal. Stop pretending. But if never produces fear or grief, then now is not a preference. It is the only real option you have. There is no tomorrow. There is only today arriving again with the same version of you standing in it. Part 10. Dopamine starvation. You may not have a motivation problem. You may have an overstimulation problem. Your brain has been flooded with fast, cheap reward, short videos, endless scrolling, constant novelty. Compared to that, writing a paragraph or building a spreadsheet or sending a cold email feels like beige wallpaper. The issue is not that work is hard. It is that work is *slow, and slow dopamine cannot compete with the engineered speed of digital distraction. The solution is not to find more exciting work. It is to make the environment boring enough that work becomes the most interesting option available. Remove the phone, close the tabs, sit with the task and nothing else. Make the room so empty that the work, even tedious work, starts to look interesting by comparison. You do not need more motivation. You need less noise. Ambition is hunger. Entertainment is junk food. Stop snacking and the real hunger returns. Part 11. Make ugly things first. Perfectionism is not high standards. It is a specific, sophisticated form of fear. You are waiting to do it right. And because you don't yet know how to do it right, you do nothing. You are protecting a masterpiece that doesn't exist from being contaminated by your current skill level. There is a famous study comparing two groups of pottery students. One group was graded on how many pots they made. The other was graded on making one perfect pot. At the end of the semester, the most beautiful work came from the quantity group. Because they had spent the entire term working with clay, making mistakes, learning the material through repetition. The quality group spent the semester theorizing. You are in the quality group, and people with less talent but more tolerance for imperfection are outworking you. Make the ugly draft, publish the awkward video, send the rough proposal. You cannot edit a blank page. You cannot improve a business that doesn't exist. Quantity is the path to quality, not the alternative to it. The choice. You now have a map of your own paralysis. The ego protecting itself through inaction, the brain rewarding planning instead of doing, the gifted child who never learned to struggle, the rebel stalling to feel free, the dopamine-flooded mind that finds everything slow and boring. You can read this, feel the spike of recognition, and go back to tomorrow. Or you can do something small right now, embarrassingly small, 2 minutes, one sentence, one shoe. The engine inside you is not broken, it is idling. The only question is whether you turn it on before the window closes. Not tomorrow. Now.